Hi guys and welcome back to another DrAce video, and today we're going to be playing MotoGP 23. It is now time to continue on with our MotoGP career mode. It's time for round 8 and it is here in Assen where we take pole position by a comfortable margin, no less. I was able to chuck in a really solid lap time of 1:36.43 and I am now ready for the Dutch GP. Ladies and gentlemen, let battle commence. So here we go then, guys and girls. We will wait for the red lights to go out, red light devices hit, and away we go. Can we get the dream start from our very first pole position with the Red Bull KTM? Not quite. Teammate Jack Miller ahead of me temporarily on screen there, as your Jorge Martin is your race leader, but for how much longer? Ooh, really close skirmish there with the two Ducatis. I'm hoping to get away from them and just start churning out the lap times. I do love this circuit, and you know what? The AI aren't particularly strong here, regardless of if they're on 120% difficulty, AI or not. It's Aleix Espargaro. Wow, he turned in quick. I forgot about them turning in so prematurely into Struben, so we made a bit of early contact, but not to worry. Wasn't a replication of Fabio and Aleix crashing there. We're alright, we're still very much on board the motorcycle. So, into the Russian hook for turn 7. Now into the right-hander for the very fast and tight Steckenval. Good old 80 miles an hour into the right-hand side as we lift up Aleix Espargaro and have claimed second position. Great start so far, but I am taking a small gamble with the double soft combination. I feel like it should work here for the sprint. Has someone gone down? Was that teammate Jack Miller? You're joking me. Is that the third race in a row now that he has crashed out? Either in the sprint or the race? Oh, Martin's all over the place. Little bit loose there as we dive over the inside, aggressively up on the inside of the number 89. Jorge Martin, be the bridesmaid once more, because I am coming through. 0.2 of a second, but I do... Oh, Miguel Oliveira's had a shocker as well, hasn't he? He's gone down there in 8th. But it seems here, this is where the AI struggled tremendously. And they've struggled again. The gap has now breached 0.7 of a second. You're going to have to be even quicker than Jorge Martin to catch up to me now. What a start here in Assen, exactly what I was hoping for. Not quite the initial launch off the line, unfortunately, just dropping back ever so slightly certainly didn't help our aspirations to win this race. However, I am positive to assume that the AI won't be seen again in today's sprint. I am so confident here in Assen. It's a circuit that I absolutely adore, but we are very fortunate that AI seem to just do terribly here. They really struggle. They just can't seem to get it right. They struggle into Struben, they turn into it too tight to the apex, then into the Weinschlang, and then into turn 7 of the Russian up. They can't seem to get it right. And of course, even De Volt, this corner here, this left-hander here is where we saw Jorge Martin run a bit deep, and then following into turn 10, into 11, and into 12. They just simply cannot stay on board the bike correctly. They tend to turn in really tight to the apex here for the Ducaslute, and they just cannot turn in properly. So unfortunately for them, that will probably be it for those. So it's down to us. Let's churn out those lap times. Let's keep it in a good rhythmic pace, a good old metronomic style of laps. As I see the Frankie Morbidelli flags in the crowd there. He's not actually in the top 8 as it stands, but his teammate Fabio Quartararo is, however. He's in 7th position, so across the line it's not going to be as good as my qualifying, just about a second down to be honest. But you know what? I don't think we really need to push that hard. We don't need to risk anything in today's video. Just try and get the points and be successful, because I'm, what, 20, 30 points behind the AI now? Of course, not earning a single point in the Sachsenring GP in the last one. Of course, I don't think that's a surprise to anyone, but I apologise if I just spoiled that one. But if you are concerned about watching this in order and missing out, then I highly recommend that you subscribe so you don't miss any of the uploads. You can do that now as we are pretty comfortable in the lead. But I do feel this should be a slightly different video to what we had in the Sachsenring. Difficulty has still not changed. We have stayed on 120% difficulty, just like the Aces said, just like I wanted to do as well. So as far as I'm concerned, we're doing everything right here today. But comparison time. We need to look at what we were doing last season with the Gas, and now here with the factory RC16. We've got to look at a few comparisons. Last season at this point, this was the difference maker. We were down by like 80 points, and our first opportunity of any decent results, well, we had some decent results, but an actual Grand Prix victory, a sprint victory, and even a pole position all came here at this circuit in the 8th round. Compare that to this year, we should be looking at a 3rd sprint victory here today. First pole position still comes at the same spot. However, that was a good lap time. Just very marginal quicker, but still decent nonetheless. But comparing it to last season, we didn't get any other victories. So Jerez, where we took the victory in this season with the RC16, and then of course in Mugello, which was absolutely bonkers. If you missed the Mugello race, then I highly recommend you watch either after this one or even now. The race there in Mugello was certainly one not to miss. Last season was fantastic, but this one was even more wild. Tons of crashes, tons of carnage, battling, Jack Miller killing Takaki Nakagami in the early stages of the race. Everything was going on in that video, and even Takaki Nakagami and the 2 gases started on the front row. Can you imagine that? I started dead last, 3 seconds behind the rider in Q1. Absolutely unbelievable. But yeah, that's a quick comparison of last season, so it's quite clear and evident that we've not only improved, but we have a better bike. And of course, this time last season, we would have been running TCS 3. We already know from the previous video, dropping down to TCS 2 made a big difference for me. A lot more feeling mid-corners, a lot more exit speed, even corner speed was increased as well. And then dropping it down to TCS 1, even better. It just enhances experience, way more confidence to turn in the corners, way more confident to power on out of the corners as well. There's a lot of electronics that are holding you back with a higher traction control. I don't know who's gone down, but something to notice is Enea Bastianini is no longer in the top 8. I've gone ran it deep there to turn 1. Apologies, too busy looking at the live standings on the left hand side of your screen. Actually didn't do too much practice for this particular corner here. For this particular lap time and track. I did the free practice, noticed we were up by quite a substantial amount, and just thought, I'm just going to go for it. I can practice during the race because this is a usual, I'm not going to say given, it's not a given, but compared to last season, this is pretty much looking like a given as it stands. So we got very close to the Wien-Schlang there. You've got to be careful going in that left-hand side because it can quickly end if you get caught on the curb. I actually crashed once in the qualifying and actually realised that I might have made a huge blunder and ended up ruining the championship, or at least the race for us. But looking at the championship standings, I did make a small note of this before I started this so I would remember. Pecco was leading the championship by 40 points. So where we are right now, we're going to take 3 points away from the world champion as he currently sits in 3rd. 12 points for the sprint victory. 9 for the second place. Now, is it 7? So we might actually take 5 points. Yeah, I think we'll take 5 points from Pecco Bagnaia. I thought he was in 2nd for some reason. Well, looking at the graphic in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, there is the map of the terrific Netherlands circuit. Alicia Spargo's going into the final corner now. So yeah, we've got this one signed, sealed and delivered. Absolutely beautiful. Rear tyre is getting a bit warm now as Jorge Martin has bested the number 1. Oh, I'm feeling confident. We could be taking some nice points away here. If I can reduce the lead, maybe half, maybe 25 points, if we can go behind by that much, I would say, because we've got some races coming up. Silverson's test straight after this. Fingers crossed we get some more upgrades. Might not need them as such, but of course you do need them, but we don't need anything particularly incredible. And I think this time I want to be looking at more acceleration, and I do believe that is the dynamic aerodynamic load, I think it is the second option. We were quite low on that in the previous test, so I would like to see some more exit speed for us. We're already doing the business by dropping it down to TCS 1. Still not as quick as it is in time trial or in online situations, but in comparison, we've got a good bike and we still have a good chance, because bear in mind we won a lot of races. Well, we didn't win, but we had some great results towards the latter stage of the season, and as long as we finish ahead of Pecco and Enea, there's still very much game on for a championship. I'm not doubting this season yet, and a race like here in Assen is going to just fill me with momentum and motivation to keep on fighting and improving for the season. So into the GT chicane for the penultimate time here in Assen. Across the line it is now a 1:31, so race pace pretty much nailed on at a 1:31.5 to 1:31.8. That is good stuff for me. Pretty much what I was looking for. There's no need to really go absolutely gung-ho in the races anymore. Not if it's going to be a lead like that. I do feel I could get into the 130s here, but with the soft rear already getting quite warm, I just don't think it's necessary. We'll be dropping down to power setting 2 in the race. Curious to see how that will last. There's someone actually just about crossing the line now. There's actually a few riders there, so someone's gone down and having to fight there. I think it could be possibly teammate Jack Miller, who's having a tough time. As it stands, the Aprilia in second and Jorge Martin in third. I am hoping that Pecco Bagnaglia's VR46 stablemate can just push him off 4th place, because every additional point will help my championship challenge, even if it's only for 3rd this year. I want to keep the lights on. If you watch the MotoGP documentary, there can only be one part 2, then you'll know that the lights get switched off when you're no longer fighting for the championship. And what an excellent documentary, I may say as well, actually. The first one last year was excellent, and they've doubled down and done it even better this year, so great job to Dorna. And I even believe it's on YouTube now, which is even better. It's good to see that MotoGP and Dorna are beginning to allow the fans to get more access without always hiding things by a paywall. But we'll talk about that in another time. But for now, we're entering the Timor chicane for the final time of today's sprint, and we will be taking the perfect 12 championship points. Stunning performance and masterclass here in Assen. So there you go then, boys and girls. Oh, the 2 VR46 teammates doing me a solid. Keeping Pecco at bay is in 6th place, so not many points for him. And I don't see much of the other championship contenders. Oh, look at the standings then. We have taken 8 points away from Pecco. Ooh, tied championship now with Elation Pecco. Of course, Pecco has won more races. This is game on. Let's see if we can get that gap down to at least 25 points. Let's see if we can take 7, 8, maybe 9 points away from Pecco. Great stuff. Let's move on with the race anyway. So here we go then. Wait for the red lights to disappear. The clouds are out. It might be a little bit concerning, this one. I hope it doesn't rain. But if it does, I'm pretty nifty here in any way, Assen, so I'm not going to worry too much. But that's a shocking start. We're down from 1st to 9th before we even entered Harbock. And now in the first corner, we doesn't really get much better. Still in 10th. Trying to scythe our way through now on Joan Mir. Able to get round the outside of Martin, but has put us very deep into the Ossenbroken. And now on the right-hander, 11th for us, down to power setting 2. Not too concerned. Oh, Lord Almighty, Joan Mir was really... What are they doing? The AI is absolutely all over the place into Struben. Handing me a massive opportunity to fight with the best of them. Marc Marquez in 1st place. Haven't seen that in a while. Is he going to go for... Oh, I thought he was going to go for the lunge into the Russian hook. That would have been very impressive. But the Beast in 3rd. Oh, he's picked it up. He could be off the circuit there. Not quite, but a bit more contact between the two of us. I had to lift up there because I know how the AI, if they hit you mid-corner when you lean angle like that, it's a crash. So unfortunately, yeah, I had to embrace for impact against the number 23. And he does get close again going into Mandevin. Marquez is on the right-hand side of the tyre. Oh, Bastianini coming on through. Cleverly done from the Beast. Is he there to go for a lunge yet? No, he isn't. Not into Muamina. I can never say that corner right. Apologies, but I can say the whole guy. As a fly just came past me there. Apologies, I jumped. I don't like flies or insects, so yeah, get away. But anyway, into the Timor chicane. Zarco led, but into the left-hander. I had to take for the inside there, but you know what? I did cut the apex. I'd rather wait for him to get past. I cut that corner there, and I'll be damned if we're going to be compared to those cheaters online in the Assen GPs, in the live GPs, of course. That was a small mistake, so Zarco has the position back, and now it's carte blanche to go up against the Frenchman. I don't think we'll be hearing La Marseillaise today if I can help it. I want to hear God Save the Queen, or God Save the King now, should I say. So we go into the left-hand side for Struben again, the number 5 in turn 5. Very tight to the apex for absolutely no reason whatsoever. It makes me nervous when the AI do sort of stuff like that. It's not ideal. Apologies if you can hear the cat in the background. She's getting involved with the commentary, it seems. But now into the left for the Russian hook. We have the Frenchman ahead of us. And Bastianini is 9/10 of a second. I was right the first time. With Marquez, Quartararo, Espargaro, Bagnaia, and Miguel Oliveira. As it stands, Aleix Espargaro would take a very slim lead in the championship ahead of the real-life and virtual MotoGP world champion, Pecco Bagnaia. Something to keep an eye on. Objective today was to gain more favour with the Red Bull KTM team. It's not quite a fight for team leader supremacy, supremacy, sorry. I turned into Sean Connery temporarily. Oh, Zarco! Very, very nervous on the brakes going into the left-hand side, and I think he might go deep into the GT chicane, which he has. Marc Marquez has added to the crashing tally on board the Repsol Honda. And as I say, before I turned into Sean Connery with supremacy, we were leading in the battle of the Teams Championship, or at least the leader of the Teams Championship, by a good chunk of points. So this objective today was to get ahead of Jack Miller and really stamp my authority as a possible candidate for team leader with the Austrian factory. So into the left hand side, not very good lap times there, but of course they did stop to let Zarco get back on through. The Frenchman's actually been dispossessed of third by another Frenchman. So infighting amongst the Frenchmen. Into the Wienstein, very fast corners, we go in nice and tight. I do go quite aggressively there in the qualifying, but I don't think it's necessary for the race. I don't want to burn up all my tyre. I did take a small gamble with the soft rear. Of course, probably not as ballsy and audacious as it was to take it in the Sepang Ace Academy Cup race recently. But there's something I mentioned in that video which I'm going to mention again here, because in case you missed it, the vibration that you get when the tyre's worn down in this game is second to none. It's absolutely amazing, the feeling of the bike beginning to slip and to turn and twist under braking, or alternatively when you're accelerating, if it's the soft rear. Feels magnificent. I really, really enjoy this game. I'm going to do a video very soon actually to talk about things I've learned in MotoGP, and a lot of it has come just by playing against the hardest difficulty AI, just pushing that extra mile to be even more competitive. Trying to get better and better at this game was a must for me in the 120%. Oh, wide there for turn one. Damn it. Too much cockiness there, I think. But yeah, going back to the point, 120% difficulty AI has been a big challenge for me this year, and it's something I've been wanting for years. From MotoGP 18, 17, maybe earlier, the AI has always been tremendously weak. I've had to run championships with power setting 1, power setting 2, depending if they actually gave a bit of a fight. And it's so good to actually feel like I can race at the maximum and still only finish in a decent spot. Might be a little bit strange to hear that because we all want to win, but honestly, winning every race doesn't make the content fun. Watching Jorge Lorenzo in 2012, watching Marquez in 2019, Valentino Rossi in 2003, it's kind of predictable that those riders are going to do well. Stoner in 2011 as well, of course. And you don't want to see it. It's more interesting to have it this way. Of course, a little bit ironic that I'm talking about that now, as we're leading by 6 seconds, but usually I don't get a chance to talk about that because there's so much contact and carnage going on. And now for the next race in Silverstone, I don't doubt it will be more like that than it will be like this today. I think Silverstone's going to keep us very much on our toes. So of course, guys, if you are looking forward to that one and enjoying the content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Across the line, it's another 132. The only man in the 132 ones, I would assume, as the gap is now monumental. That gap is bigger than the victory we had in the sprint, not what, 5-10 minutes ago? Superb. Power setting 2, Red Bull KTM, TCS 1, here in Assen. Fans watching from home, fans watching on the big tellies. Amazing. Actually, let me know if you watch on the telly or if you watch on your phone or something. I'm actually really curious. I noticed that there's been an increase recently with viewers watching on the television, so if I made it to the big screen, that's awesome. I don't know where I'm being featured, but if I'm on the big screen, that makes me a happy man. So thank you for putting me on the big telly. So into Steckenval for turn 8. We lost a bit of time there, so we might slip back down into the clutches of the 132 mids. But into the corner there, it just, you know, I just never seem to get debolt right. Turn 9 in here in Assen is just one of those corners that I just don't feel all that confident with. I'm not going to say it's as bad as the final corner in Sepang, but I just don't seem to have much confidence into the 9th corner. But into turn 12, Miguel Oliveira has finally had some good fortune. Temporarily, he was up to 3rd place, and he's actually ahead of the 2 Ducatis. Ahead of the both GP23s, and never mind, he's battling, but he's hanging in there as Pecco Bagnaia hoping to keep on to his championship lead. I actually panicked a little second then because I was looking towards the pit and I thought I'd seen some rain. I must confess, I do like a good flag to flag. It keeps things interesting, but I don't want the flag to flag today. If you don't mind, keep away. Let me finish this race in peace. It's been a while since I had a peaceful race here in MotoGP 23. Well, especially for the win. Might have had a peaceful race in the Sachsenring, but that was dead last. What a shocker that was. They need to sort out the German GP's AI, because they are just unbelievable. Just can't be beaten. Nothing you can do against them in certain tracks. Termas de Rio Hondo, of course, as well, is another very difficult circuit to beat the AI. You can if you're an esports rider, or if you reduce the difficulty, but we don't do that here. And I don't think I'll make esports anytime soon, so we're stuck with what we've got. Put into the right-hander. This is turn 10. A bit wide there. Run it onto the curb and then turn it in. Nice and gentle acceleration. Still undecided on what gear to take that right-hander. Of course, as we know, leaving the bike in a higher gear does help you turn in. However, it doesn't feel like you've got enough power to then turn in appropriately into that corner, as I went a little bit deep there for the Ramshock. You can get it on the curb and then pull it in, but I'm not taking any risks, not at this stage of the Grand Prix. I'm taking the GT chicane very calmly as well. We've got a 9-second lead, ladies and gentlemen, and we're sharing it with the two Frenchmen. Clink of the Prosecco with Johan Zarco for the second time this season, I think. Maybe third. And Quartararo coming off the victory in the Sachsenring, of course, in the wet. Teammate Jack Miller finished second, if I'm not mistaken. Pretty solid result last time out for that side of the Red Bull KTM team. Not quite for me. I think if I remember, actually, wasn't Frankie Morbidelli third as well? Something like that? I mean, I didn't see the front, I was miles behind. Oh, I did see Fabio as he almost lapped me. Well, not quite lapped me, but he came out of the pits on the wets, and I was still on the slicks. And he caught me down with no time to spare, really. So as it stands, top 8 is as this. Myself in first place, that familiar 47 in the front. Johan Zarco and Fabio Quartararo second and third respectively. Inea, Pecco and Oliveira are having one hell of a skirmish for that final position in fourth. Well, I was going to say the final position on the roster, it's actually the position to be best of the rest. Currently occupied by Bastianini, but I have a good feeling for Oliveira. I think he's going to turn things around here today. I think he's going to beat both of the Ducatis. Aprilia's Aleix Espargaro will not be regaining the championship lead. I think he held it once in Mugello, perhaps, but he hasn't since. And I don't think he had the best of races in the Sachsenring. No sign of the two VR46 Ducatis either. Both Luca and Marco Bezzecchi not featuring in the top 8. Another 132.601. I would get excited for that. It's the same lap time if it was a good lap. But a 132.6 is still, what, 2 seconds off my pole position? I think it is. That's a lot of difference, actually. I thought Power Steering 2 wouldn't be that much of a hindrance, which it isn't. But it's clearly not as fast as Power Steering 3 in this circuit. You can get away with Power Steering 2 in certain tracks like Sachsenring. Mugello is actually another one. Because of the tight, twisty nature of those circuits and the technicalities of those, or the technical nature, should I say, Power Steering 2 does feel better in Mugello. I think we saw that last time out, the lap times weren't that significantly different. But as it is, 2.5 tenths is the delta. In a negative, unfortunately. But we should be getting back to where we were at the start of the race. The 132.2s or 132.3s. 130, might not be as good as I thought it was, but still very much competitive lap times, and it's more than sufficient to keep on building this lead ahead of Johan Zarco. Might not have been the most thrilling and gripping of races, but I would like to say that it's a nice experience to just continue churning out the lap times. I rather enjoy just jumping on a track and not really focusing on a goal, but just to race and get better. Because I know a lot of players, there's a lot of guys in the server that do it as well. They want to be faster every single sector. Restart flying laps, using rewinds. It's not necessary, just go out there, have fun. No inhibitions, just race. And just see what lap times you can produce. That's when my best lap times usually come in. If I start getting too excited and getting desperate, like I was in Donington Parks with the LCR Honda, for example, the lap time just doesn't come. and you get more and more frustrated as you start restarting the laps, and you wait for the autopilot, or maybe you use rewind, and then you get into a problem. So for me, I would recommend just staying like this. And I didn't realise that we actually did a 1:33. That's devastating. I didn't realise I was that much slower. How did I lose so much time? I guess not concentrating perhaps, but does it really matter? We're 14 seconds ahead. We could be finishing this one 15 seconds ahead of the competition. Maybe more. Would like to have a big wheelie across the line. I can never seem to get the wheelies. I just don't have the confidence to push back on the analog stick enough. Or when I do it, sometimes the bike just doesn't want to lift. Even if anti-wheelie's on 1, it just doesn't want it. It just doesn't fancy it. So out of the Ducas Loot for turn 11. Beautiful right-hander. Of course, this one here for turn 12. You've got to be very careful there. I was actually dicing with death a bit there. Too tight to the apex can result in an immediate crash. Even if we did crash, as long as it wasn't a fast one, I think we'd be alright. But the problem with crashing in a circuit like this is because it's a fast and flowing circuit, your bike's not going to slow down enough. And then what you're going to find is the bike won't slow down, it'll keep on barrel rolling, keep on twisting and turning, and then by the time you do respawn, you've lost 15 seconds. Not quite as bad as the bike retrieval, but you do lose a significant amount of time. Strange one to bring up actually is the old bike retrieval. I kept that on in MotoGP 22, and even in MotoGP 21 when it was initially added. I believe. I think that's right. Maybe it was added in 22, I actually don't remember now. I think it was 21. But the problem with it was just that nobody used it, everyone just turned it off. It was never implemented online, it was never implemented for the AI either, so it's a bit of a dead feature. Why would you give yourself such a disadvantage when the AI can just respawn? I guess that doesn't make much sense, does it? We're already at a disadvantage as the players suffer with tyre and fuel degradation, but the AI don't. So yeah, bear that in mind if you want the bike retrieval back. I don't think it's a feature I'm too bothered about, to be honest. It made for some good screenshots though, for a rider running towards his fallen motorcycle and then picking it up. There's one thing as well I wanted to mention which I actually completely forgot, but there's no Red Bull Rookies in this game. I was hoping to start a Red Bull Rookies career mode after this season is finished, or in the next season whenever we win the MotoGP Championship, if we win the MotoGP Championship, asterisk. I'd like to do a Red Bull Rookies Cup in preparation for the next season, but I don't think that's going to happen this year. But this is now to start lap number 11. Another bad lap time though. We've slowly got off the pace now. As that soft rear has got to about halfway, the sides of the tyres is getting a bit loose. It's not noticeable in the riding, but in the feeling. The vibration on the DualSense controller here on PC, it's really intense. It's actually making my hands tired. I have already recorded quite a few races today, but that's probably a factor, but it's getting strong on the fingers. I should have really nice thick man hands after this one, instead of my usual soft pedicured fingers. I don't do any hard graft, it's just controllers and keyboards, so I never really had a chance to really get those big thick calluses like a man's hand. I have a delicate hand. Like a woman's hand, if anyone remembers Blackadder. Well, off topic, but I love Blackadder. Absolutely amazing TV series. Probably, for the non-British viewers, I don't think you'll have any understanding or idea what I'm on about now, so let's change the subject, and let's take a look at the riders on the live standings on the left-hand side. There's been a change. My confidence in Miguel Oliveira was ill will. He's no longer in the top 8. Good job, Matt. Good job. We're well focused on a ride that clearly didn't have it in today's race. And then we have Zarco holding the fort in second. Something happened to Fabio. Ooh, thought I was going to turn in too early there. Martin in fourth. Another 133.1. This is not going too well. I'd say the soft option was a gamble, but honestly, the way the AI is in this circuit, I don't think it would have mattered what tyre we chose. But it is beginning to struggle on the right-hand side. It actually struggled worse on the left when I was going into the Ramshook. It was a bit nervous going into there. We'll see what it's like when we go into there next. I think it's the Ramshook. It's the final corner, before the final corner, just before the Hoghide, or after the Hoghide, I think it is. I know the next corner coming up is, this one is Wienschlang, and then to the right-hander, well, is Wienschlang, and then the left-hand side is the Russian Hook, if I'm not mistaken. So it makes the other corner the Ramshook. I believe that is correct. I'm not entirely sure. I guess we'll find out when we get there, as the game does give us the corner names. I'm very grateful the game does give you the corner names, because if I ever get stuck, I can just wait a lap or two and then I'll remember. But thankfully, there's quite a lot of circuits I know all the names of the corners for. I had a conversation with Cheshire Charlie in the Discord server a few days ago. And Jackhammer as well, I think he was there. Know a lot about the corner names, especially Le Mans, Jerez, Mugello. Some of your iconic circuits been in there for years. And this was before the game even told you about the corner names. Just something I've always been intrigued by. And as a wannabe commentator, let's say, I've always listened imperiously to the likes of Matt Burt, Steve Day, Nick Harris. God, I love Nick Harris. I'd love to meet Nick Harris. I've met Steve Day, not yet met Matt Burt, but I'd love to meet Nick Harris. He's on my bucket list. But anyway, a lot of riders, a lot of players and viewers may be thinking about meeting Valentino Rossi, and yet I want to meet Nick Harris. The commentary goat for me. Anyway, well, I've tried to keep you entertained for 13 laps, ladies and gentlemen. I certainly hope I have. So now it is time to conclude this race. We're on the final lap of today's video. A stunning show as far as I'm concerned. A brilliant performance. I've really enjoyed this one. And it was nice to not go into qualifying and just do a couple of laps. In the practice I did one lap. It was good enough to move into Q2 directly. From Q2 I started chucking in those laps. And then, you know what, compared to what I usually have to do is I have to grind out free practice. I have to grind the second, miss out, go to Q2, Q1, grind it out in Q1, and fingers crossed we can get a decent position, which we don't. We end up starting from 14th and have to go through all the pack. So, yeah, it's a pleasure to have this race in between. It just keeps me motivated and gives me a bit of a rest to go in. Even easier on the throat, no doubt, as well, because it's hard to commentate for 35 plus minutes every other minute, every other hour, depending on what day it is. So into the 14th corner then. This is the Ramshock for turn 15. The left-hander is gone. It feels really weak now on the left-hand side of the tyre. And now into the right-hander. The fans, the Dutch fans are pleased. Look at them. I'm trying to wheelie now. I can't wheelie. Give me some wheelie. Ah, that's the best I can do. Sorry, guys. It's a wheelie for the aces, even if it was temporary. So there you are then, guys. The two Prima Pramac Ducatis joined us on the podium today. So we will once again be clinking the Prosecco with Johan. But more importantly, Pecco and Enea and Noah Leish in the top 10. Jack Miller dropped to 13th. Not sure. Oh, Taka! I thought Taka got a point then. Oh, God bless you, mate. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, championship lead cut down to 18 points. Oh, I can't believe it. We've never been this close before. And we've got a lot of good races coming up. Silverstone should be good, especially after the test, depending if it's wet or not. I usually like Silverstone, fingers crossed. Red Bull Ring of Austria won there last season. Misano. Oh, I'm excited. I can't wait. Oh, I'm ready for this one. Teams Championship, yeah, it's looking a bit bleak, but there's not much we can do. If we can finish second, then thumbs up from me. But I think that's it. Guys, thanks for watching the video. I won't leave you any longer. I'll leave you with the Teams Championship and then the Constructors. But on my note, that's it. So thanks for watching. I really appreciate you checking out the video. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe, and even share with amongst your friends if you want them to see the content as well. But that note, I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching, guys. Ciao for now. Oh, hi. Didn't quite see you there. Good to see you're still here. If this video didn't quite set your appetite, then why not watch some more DrAce content by clicking the video shown on screen now. Furthermore, if you would like to follow me on social media, you can do so now with the links down in the description. Consider subscribing so you don't miss a single DrAce video.